who was caught in adultery. He spoke with grace to the rich young ruler, and even to the Pharisees who came hoping to trip him up so that they might find some reason to arrest him, answered their questions with grace. And as imitators of Christ, we who seek to strive to become Christ-like must also speak with the same grace that Christ put into his conversations with those who sought to seek more and to know him. And that we should not grow weary or decide that our time is being wasted, but rather we seek to be the utmost help, so as Paul says in 1 Corinthians, that we might save some. That we must make sure that we are doing nothing out of the character of Christ which might cause some to stumble. That we are to be filled with grace and to speak with grace, as Paul says in Ephesians 5:4, nor should there be any obscenity, foolish talk, or coarse joking, which are out of place, but rather speak with thanksgiving. For our conversations are to be filled with life, with love, with grace, mercy, and kindness. For those who see our lives, they see what we are about, and they wish to know more about the God that we serve and his work within us that makes us so different from everything else in the world. So we must be filled with grace. But not only must our conversations be filled with grace, Paul also mentions something very curious. Paul says that when we're talking to those outside of faith about our own faith, that the conversation needs to be seasoned with salt. Now, many may be thinking of the fact that Paul might be drawing a connection back to Jesus' parable about being the salt of the world in Matthew 5:13, which is about living lives that are acceptable to God by striving to do his will. But there's another reason why Paul mentions our conversations need to be seasoned with salt as well as being filled with grace. For when Gentiles who hear the words to be seasoned with salt would have gotten